So, yeah, we just got Poland versus Brazil. Okay, this is back a few years ago. Okay, right off the bat here, right, you can see the left front is heavily invested, right, because that setter's front row. You know, a really good thing to kind of note in general, right, if the pass gets, if you're on the blocking defense side, the pass gets pushed to your right or into their like area 4, right, the chances of them setting that long distance deep ball kind of goes down quite a bit. You know, you kind of want to force that. Teams typically don't like to set the D ball. Okay, that back row attack on the right. So, you know, if you can force that at any cause, right, that's definitely the way to go. Okay, this is pretty good right here. Again, you know, you kind of see that 23 is kind of shading over there. Again, trying to force that D. Okay, it's a really good move by Kubiak right here. I mean, man, he's barely over the net, but he just puts himself in a really good position. Right, he's getting outside of his body, shaping that ball to the floor right there. Small guy getting it done. Kubiak, the man. If there's one guy to watch for almost every skill in the game, it really is number 13 right there, Kubiak. Just really, really good. You know, I don't really know. I don't really advise this ever really, but you know, 11's a setter. I would think that he would be so much better just being in a crossover step instead of like this shuffle move. But you know, maybe he stays more body in the seam. Maybe his block is not that much bigger, so he's just not going to you know, be that much of a threat if he does cross over. It's a good serve. One thing on that, right? We want to make sure that you got to be good in this straightaway seam right there. A lot of jump servers stay in the same half that they're serving in. Just tends to be less room for error. Okay, I want to point out this attack right here. It's, obviously, it's a super low set, super fast. But you can see how open Kubiak gets the ball right there and is able to still just slap that thing down the line. But he still is able to either hit that ball sharp angle or not. Sec here, got to let in someone. Okay. I'm going to go back on that too. I would like to see Kubiak get in a little bit more, recreate that first look, that first ball blocking defense, right? Because he doesn't get all the way back in. He kind of just gets stuck being in the wrong position. 23 feels like he has to close and then opens up that sharp cross court. So you can see just like totally different blocking styles. That's why I kind of picked this match as well. You know, pretty awkward footing from the middle blocker. Right front's got you know, basically a standing block going on. But one thing to definitely note is that, you know, he jumps and lands at the exact same position. You know, it's pretty much he's in really good control of his body during that sequence. In that situation. Not the smartest of swings. It's a good little off-speed serve. Okay. Middle blocker obviously commits right there. Not exactly sure what that route is on 23, but good high seam swing. It's in there, yeah. It's a good swing. You can watch that one again. That was nice. Again, knowing where that corner is whenever you're attacking that high ball, just driving it to the corner, it's pretty tough to stop that. And also, if you're getting a good swing on it with some good topspin, it's really hard to hit that ball long if you're finding that corner. Cuff. You know, there's obviously a lot of different footwork that these international players are displaying, or they're just trying to, I don't know, they're trying to help as much as they can in some situations. Sometimes they just prioritize, you know, being up and down with great body control and not being, you know, there are a little bit better jumpers and they're a little bit bigger. So, you know, just putting your body in a good situation, a good spot to block a ball really is like half the battle. And then then you could slightly upgrade in shape with your arms, like from there, right? Put your body in a good spot. Again, see, these guys aren't even like crossing over that pin. He's basically just shuffle stepping, but then he's still able to move his arms a little bit. They're picking on number 6 right now. What a good little swing right here. Finding a way. Look at this 5-man screen going on. I don't know. You're not allowed to do that at the club level, but some teams will try to get away with it. And, you know, best thing, sometimes, you know, it could be more of a mental thing if you're trying to go in there and pass some of those volleyballs. So the best thing you work to do that, right? It's hard to prep for it because some teams don't do it in practice, but just to communicate through it. And what I mean by that is just literally telling your teammates if the ball is short or deep and it's you or mine, right? It's that reconfirm part of the pass. They really don't think 13 or number 3 is going to get set. Look at that. So we know it's row 1. So we know the opposite's over there. So they're trying to, Poland looks like they're trying to stress out Brazil by going gap red. And look at this. There's a go ball, the front row hitter, and number 17, that is. This guy's not getting set the ball. He's like, I'm getting in here and helping. Let's see what they do in the next ball. Okay, front 1. 17's loosened up a little bit more over here. Looks like they don't want to set the go. All right, gets it done. Oh, no touch. Oh yeah, there's a touch. This is a good example of just how loose Kubiak's arms are. It's hard to see, but maybe I could do a little frame by frame. It kind of comes clear when it's when I'm just going through like slowly. But you can see like how like relaxed his like hands and wrists are, because his hands are actually like above the line of his arms right here. And he gets on it quick. Nice quick arm swing. Ooh. Hits it off the best blocker in the gym. Let's watch that again. You know, a lot of people ask, you know, how do you hit that? How do you hit that cuff shot on your serve? So it's just better to just kind of watch it, see what maybe he does, because he's definitely looking like he's gonna unload on this thing right there. All right, and that arm kind of loosens up and kind of snaps over the top really loosely. One more time. Okay. Yeah, and that matters, right? Brazil, look You got a middle blocker and the setter diving for that ball. Those points matters right there. Go. So setter now on Brazil, totally freed up to get that guy. Right, that's a big crossover move. He wants to get every inch out of his blocking move right there. He's fired up about it. Oof. It's a good serve. What if that ball is long? That one is. You know, it's just a really good like heads up play right here. I mean, they have to be training this because a lot of club teams, right? If you're left front right here, sometimes it's hard to stay involved in the play, but you just keep yourself involved, right? Low pass setter's hands are way out in front. You know, like the likelihood of him flipping back a D ball, you know, it's not that high. So go ahead and get yourself involved in this play. Just go. Just shoot your hands up there. You know, maybe the middle feels like, oh man, he's reacting right now. You know what I mean? Players can feel that presence, that body presence in the hands filling into the seam. You know, they don't want it. They are always trying to avoid. So the more hands you're putting in front of people's faces, it's going to cause more stress over time, right? And you're also going to be a better re-blocker, react blocker. You're going to start making better moves, all that kind of stuff, right? Commit out of the middle. I like this move by 3 right here. Looking to get his hands on the ball, and then at the last second, he's making that move and almost grabbing it and kind of shaping it, throwing that ball back into the court right there. Setter's going to take a rip. Nice, cover himself. Oh, geez. Mayhem. Yeah, I mean, you can see like it's Brazil looks a little stressed right here. Emotions are flying. Poland's feeling great. Maybe it's because they're just playing a little bit harder. Everyone's trying to stay more involved. Okay. Again, 6, left front. Really working on just being straight up and down. Okay, good body control. That's not only going to help you as a pin blocker, but it's also going to help your middle blocker physically close that seam. Right? If you're drifting, the seam's never going to be filled. Right? So the middle blocker feels like he just cannot get there. It's a good recovery move. 16 literally just throwing his hands out into that seam right there. Right? Filling that seam. Poland's making a lot of hitting errors. It's a good swing. Wow. Miss serve. Okay, again, setter's front row. So again, you're going to see that heavily active left front. Right, and then that setter's going to be good on his guy. It's got to be. It's got to be good on his guy. Lucarelli just going straight over the top right there. Big time swing. All right, so you can see the scheme right here. This is pretty common when a D ball is set because you typically are forcing the D ball. Okay, so building off of left front, kind of staying a little bit more involved. Right, left front trying to help. Right, typically you're going to see teams literally just give up the line a little bit because you have hopefully your best defensive player right there. Right, that ball is going to come straight down the line at them. Maybe you could have got there a little bit sooner, covered a little bit more line, right? Good swing. It's a good block move. Again, just really pointing out how disciplined these guys are with their body control when they're blocking. Yeah, their footwork's a little bit kind of all over the place, but for the most part, it's pretty smooth. Right, up and down. It's hard to make moves with your hands because if you're flying out to the side. Great swing right here. I mean, that ball is never going in, right? If that didn't touch the block, that thing's going 10 feet long. Kubiak just with a really, really hard, flat swing right there. It's good. Let's take a pass. Yep. It's good react by number 3, right front. And again, building off of what we were talking about last blocking defense, right? Against that quick pick, we need to defend these, like, you know, basically a triangle, right? The seams right here, right? The seam of this block and then the seam going this way, okay? Those are the most likely places that players are gonna hit it. So 11 or 13 need to get back in this zone right over here. Okay, and then 17 can obviously step in a little bit right there to get that wrist away shot. I mean, it makes a good move. It just hits him right in the hands. So he's put him in a good spot. Just got to scoop that ball. So this shot right here, I don't think it's utilized enough, honestly. So good. You know, maybe a slightly wide set. He's early because he was passing, you know, it's late to get up. He's trying to rush in. Right, but that little hang slap off the hands right there, blockers are going to be on their way down. You just got to make sure you hit it firm enough so they don't grab it, see it, and then throw it down. Right, hit it too hard, then it's going to go off and onto the opponent's side. But if you're able to slap that ball off the high hands right there, you know, this ball is covered 10 times out of 10, and sometimes you're actually able to cover it. Boom. Recycle, get a swing out of it. So, you know, maybe this is why they don't swing block. Granted, he is covering like half the court, essentially. All right, coming from here, but then, look, jumping from here. Woo. Flying 6 feet. It's gonna be some holes. It's gonna be some holes in the block. So we're gonna be it's gonna be a lot more difficult to block. See, there you go. You can almost argue that he's like kind of almost out of position right here. But jumps up, right? Gets outside of his body right there, making a read. Scoop. Jeez Louise. That's getting in the line of the fire right there. So again, both of them protecting that meat of the court, right? Both of them kind of step into that seam. And look at the, you know, the scooping right there. His arms aren't even together. He's literally just putting out that service area, right? He has no time to react to this thing. This thing is, I don't even know, like probably 15, 18, 20 feet away. Getting hit 70 miles an hour. Really good job. 13 just to have the service area away, Kubiak, right? Scooping that ball up to the middle of the court. Giving this team an opportunity to swing, score a point. Ace right after. Oh, man. So, yeah. I mean, one dig right there. Basically, no one up on that Bic. Kubiak steps in there, right? Taking the charge, scoops that thing up. Big point. Blasting off the top of the hands. It's that momentum shifter right there. I don't really like this move as much. Hands are pretty locked out. So when we talk about shaping the ball to the floor, right, we need to have a little bit more of a fluidity, right? So, you know, think about like a board, right? Like literally like a 2x4, right? That thing is fully flat and extended, right? It's just got a whole bunch of ridges on there, right? But then you think of like a hockey stick, right? Essentially another piece of wood, but it's got a lot of curvature, it's got a lot of bends, you got a lot of control with it, right? No way for you to actually, if you were a hockey player, no way for you to actually maneuver that puck around if it had no bend and shape, right? So you can think of your arms a little bit more of that like fluid shaping motion where it's a nice bend, right? And everything, every opportunity, every surface area of your arm, got to have that shape or facing up, some sort of angle back to the middle of the court. Okay, and Lucarelli kind of misses that there. You're straight locked out, so it's really hard to, it's only got to hit like right here on him. That kind of makes sense. Maybe it's hard to illustrate that or talk about it, but not locked out, so you're going to be able to shape that ball to the floor. I don't know what 20 is looking at there. Open net, that ball's going to be put away. Oh, first set point right there. It's nice. Okay, here you go. I forgot we were talking about this. Obviously not a great, I don't know, he probably just rolled this ball in. It was not planned because it was a bad toss. But again, trying to roll, get that arm to whip over the top a little bit. Good heads up play by Kubiak right there. And 23, just expecting greatness right there. Yeah. Good way to end the set. So, you know, that one dig really, to me, felt like that was kind of the game changer, the momentum shift, right? Or kind of propelled Poland to that last little bit of the set, that last little push, right? Score that point, then 2 aces off that float serve right after, and that's basically the game. Again, real stiff with your arms right there. It's just going to blast off that inside part of the arm and just it's going to sail out. It's hard, right? Because a lot of coaches tell you to be super locked out. Lock out, finish with your arms, right? No bend. Right, to me, that I feel like that's a little counterintuitive or not very athletic. You should just ask them there to be like a stick man, essentially. Right, you guys should be able to make a read. You guys should be able to move your arms when you're in the air, right, and make a play on a ball. There you go. That's a better move. 17's looking to put his hands on the ball, and then look at that little bit of shape, right? That little bit of bend in that right arm, right? Slight bend. So he's able to take away that seam. And then 16's also able to close a little bit as well. You know, and he's got his hands finishing as well, right? It's not just put him up there, right? Because the higher level you go up and play, the better players are going to be recognizing, seeing the block, and then blasting off hands, going around you. Good. That's a nice little shot. I bet you learned that one from his teammate. Yeah, with this pass, I don't know, late to prep. Just so tight to his body. I had no chance for him to be a good pass. Oh my God, it's out. Oh my. Kubiak that gets this? Yeah, look at that. Setter on the run. So there's two times when a setter is more likely to dump. Okay, when the setter's on the run. Okay, so moving forward into like area 4. Okay, because typically gets away from left front, right, and then is able to throw it down through the seam between left front and then the blocker. Okay, and also the longer the rally goes. Okay, so those are the two general thoughts of when setters are more typically dumping. Okay, and obviously if the relationship to the net is good, that's a given. So when the pass is like kind of tight. Okay, but that's a good heads up play by Kubiak right there. Stay involved in that play. Yeah, that's fun. This is nice. You know, again, just like how fast and quick he is with his arm, quick unload, getting on that ball. It's a nice heads up play by Poland. Okay, good move again. Good body control by Kubiak right there. Again, you know, staying inside. He's definitely reading that that set is dying inside and making him kind of chop that ball back to the line. Middle could maybe help him out there. Dig that ball. It's not that tough. Oh, man. Wild swing. Yeah, you know, right when you see that dump, just go with your hands, right? Never know. If you put that service area out there, the ball's going to find it. So always react. Again, you can see the finish, the shape of Kubiak here. Good touch. Step close. That's a good block. Now, the more up and down the set is, more high ball, right? Then that old methodology of getting your hands a little bit more locked out. Don't need to be completely straight, this, but having your arms a little bit more straight or low and over at the ball, right? Because if you make that big in-system move, you know, you're going to be taking that, you're going to be taking yourself out of that play, right? And then you're going to be letting the attacker chisel that ball down the line. Okay, so the faster the tempo, the more you want to get on the ball, and then you can free yourself for a little shaping, a little moving, a little reading. And then when it goes a little bit more out of system, that's when you can go a little bit more old school blocking, if you will. Really smooth pass. I know it's an easy serve. Smooth. Man. This is a kind of rarity in club, but at the upper levels, at the 17s or 18s age level, you get a big middle blocker, and he jumps with the quick, and you're hitting the bic. You got to be mindful. Even on their way down, they're still reaching probably 8, 9 or so. Right? You got to hit somewhere else. It was about the only place he could have gotten blocked. That's a smart swing. Not bad. Pretty good block. No block closing right there. I just like that repeat. Bang, bang. You know, and it's talking about defense against like the go and the red. You know, it's tough when you kind of dissect it with the international players. Okay, there's definitely a much stronger. How do I word this? You know, it happens more frequently when the ball either hits seam or the ball gets hit underneath the block, or if the block's not there, right? So if the middle blocker is not there, right, that left back defense, you just want to be seeing the attacker, right? At this level, when you're kind of watching, you know, guys can go over, you know, super sharp to the tee, so they have a lot more range. But talking about defense for you guys, right, seeing the attacker and making sure you're nice and balanced neutral so you're able to make that move towards the ball. So if you're standing right behind a blocker in an in-system set, right, that's normally not the greatest position for you to be in, right? That's kind of what I mean by that. See the attacker. Okay. It's a nice little move right there by 17. Okay. Getting his arm back into that seam. Yeah, I don't know why 9 is so far out there to the line. But man, it's quick. It's gonna go right there. Especially with number 6 bailing like that. They can beat you to the sideline. All right, a couple more here. It's a good smart swing. You know, as a blocker, it's hard in this situation because the attacker definitely has the advantage, right? Especially if it's even more reason to kind of have nice, looser arms, right? It's much more difficult to move your arm, right? If it's completely locked out, you got a little bit of bend to it, then you're able to like move your wrist, move your hands, move your forearm a little bit, okay? And maybe prevent that from happening. It's also just being able just to recognize that the hitter is also in a compromised position. Then you'd be able to maybe, you know, pull back your hands a little bit, do something a little different in that situation. All right, this is kind of what I'm talking about here. Seam's totally gone. A lot of liberos end up stepping in, right? They're both in a pretty good spot right here. So if the attacker challenges underneath the middle blocker, you got to be able to scoop that ball. That's kind of a good spot, okay, for you guys to kind of defend. And it's the same thing going the other way. That middle blocker closes. You're going to be able to see the attacker so you can see that ball be cleanly hit at you. Not really a good blocking move. This ball is tight all the way out. Okay. A good rule. I'm going to flip it, right? If you ever guys dealt with a really tight set as an attacker, are you kind of really only locked into hitting down the line? So you can't move it because your wrist can't move it, right? Everything is you're just flying out towards the ball. In this situation, 19 probably should have gone outside of his body a little bit. So he's flying, right? Not really any way for him to hit this ball anywhere further right on my screen than this mark right here. Inside set, kind of goes with it. Now, it's a big thing in blocking and defending is where the ball is in relationship to the guy's body. Okay, again, I can point this out too. This ball is not going to get to his midline. It's going to end up a little short. It's going to be on the outer edge of his, think of it like a window, essentially, like right here, okay, where you can hit the ball. You can even hit it like over here, right? So this is probably the outer edge, right? Yeah, somewhere right in there, right? The window of where the guy's arm is able to get on the ball. Okay, and you can clearly see it's on that outer edge, right? Really, 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 really hard for him to hit it over here, unless he's just probably slapping it, right? Tipping it back over here, right? In this case, the power is going to be, or the good heat ball is going to be going back to wrist back to area 5, right? And the middle blocker, Lucas, obviously sees that. So then he makes that read over there. Number 6 has got to be ready to dig that ball. Has to. That ball has hardly any heat on it.
Yeah, bro, you're a liar. So you should be sued. Like all these doctors could just like sue it. Yeah, I'll start making those calls.
A crafty little play right here.
The other doctors called me.
Again, working to get around, opening up. See, here's that block move that I'm talking about right there. So this is great.
Yeah, it's a really unique.
Right, so you're able to. Sorry, Katie's in my girlfriend's in a meeting or phone call, work call in the other room. So if you guys hear, that's what's going on. So this is that bent arm where we're not super locked out. Right, so he's actually able to make a play on the ball right there. So if he is super locked out and is stretching to get across, there's no way to get that ball that's already behind him. Good. It's a good swing.
Yeah, definitely. No, I was planning on calling and then.
It's good turning and running right there. Obviously, Brazil is trying to play much harder right now to keep this lead going. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, no, I actually took notes when we had that call, so I have all
questions. Questions on some of that stuff. So I was talking a little bit about, shaping and not being super locked out. And sometimes that can be a little bit, I don't know, uneasy or kind of hard to get your like head around sometimes because you just hear it, right? Get locked out, get locked out, get locked out. Right, but having that ability to have a little bit of a looseness about your arms, so you're able to get outside your body, shake up on the floor. How can we practice shaping? Yeah, so you can end up